Welcome back to Season 1 of the Serenity SMP. This is Episode 5, and we are in the shopping district. Why are we in the shopping district? Because our good friends Compass Nose and Hightower have opened a wood shop, which means that they're using bone meal. And if those guys are using bone meal, my store probably needs to be restocked. So, let's check out the profits and then get to work on what we're doing today. Okay, that's all of it. And almost all of it. Okay. All right. A good promotional item. I like it. I'm going to leave that in there so that people know that my shop is a powerhouse. 1 1/4 stacks of diamonds. That is really not bad. And we're just going to grab the diamonds out of here. I believe that was it. Yeah. Okay. This episode has a good list of things I want to get done. First, I want to work on that tower that I was building last episode. Second, the entrance to my base in the Nether is looking very bare, and I want to decorate it. Other people have decorated theirs, and we'll take a look at those when we get to it, see if we can get some inspiration from them. I also have a spider spawner right down at the bottom of my base, and I want to get that running, or at least prepare it to build a farm. So clear out the area around it so I can get some string for a general mob farm that I'm going to make. Finally, I don't know if you guys have seen this storage room. It's probably been a while since I've had it on camera. But my storage room has this pile of utility things in the middle, and I want to get rid of that. I want that to go somewhere else. So I'm thinking maybe it's time to build an extension to this room or a different room, maybe in here or something, that I can have all these things in. So let's go check out this tower, see where I've gotten to. In the time between episodes, I started working on the tower a little more. I built it up to its maximum height, to its final height, I guess you want to call it. This is the general shape of it. It's going to have some more details on it. Oh yeah, I forgot to introduce you all to my new friend. He doesn't have a name yet. If you have any ideas, please feel free to suggest them in the comments. He's the only one of the new ones I've found, so I have to go adventuring to find some more. Write that down. That's a good episode idea. Trial chambers and finding dogs. Yes, I like that plan. Okay, so I'm going to get to work, and when I come back, there will be some details on this tower, I hope. So here I am down in the bottom of my skeleton farm. There's a spawner way up there, and there's an AFK spot for me way up there. And the skeletons fall down and they land on this campfire thing. And if they haven't died from the fall, they die from the fire. And it works very good. It's very simple, very basic, incredibly cheap to build. It's really just a hole with a campfire. You probably can't make a cheaper farm than that. And then there's a sorting system which takes out all the stuff I don't want, which is everything but bones, and the bones end up in here. The problem I am facing is that some of our server members use a lot of bone meal. There's a fireworks shop that uses my bone meal to make fireworks. There's a wood shop that uses my bone meal to make trees. And then there's the other various uses of bone meal on the server, and I keep getting bought out. The problem I have is that it takes me a lot of nights of just sitting in the AFK spot doing nothing to get enough bone blocks to supply all this need. So, what I want to do is I want to make a small improvement to this farm. That improvement is going to be a Trident killer. Now, I know I had a long list of things I wanted to get done in this episode, but that Trident killer, that's going to make a huge difference in how all this works for me. So I'm going to go back to my base, grab a couple things. It's very cheap to make a Trident killer these days. You need 8 observers and 4 pistons and 1 Trident, especially for a farm like this. This isn't exactly a high output farm, but with a looting 3 sword and that Trident killer going, I should get significantly more bones per hour spent sitting in my AFK spot than I do now. It might require a little modification of the sorting system and all that, and that's not such a big deal. That's okay. But I think I can actually just fit it in right in there. I'm going to go back to my base, grab a couple things that I need, and come on back here. The beauty of this farm is that it requires almost no redstone. Really just 4 pistons and 8 observers. And of course, a trident. That's very important. Your trident doesn't need to be full enchanted or have full health. It doesn't take any durability damage while it's doing whatever it does inside the trident killer. So that's all we need. Now, you may have noticed that there's an extra door here that didn't used to be here for those of you astute viewers who pay attention to how my base looks. So what I did was I took all the utility stuff out of here, which is really not super efficient because now I have to walk across the hall to build anything. But I made myself a little utility room here. So we got your standard stuff, your grindstones, your loom, your anvil, your smithing table, obviously your crafting table, and then you have a stone cutter. Now this is supposed to be a lathe. I thought it'd be pretty cool to have an actual piece of machinery in here to make it look like this is sort of like a workroom, like a workshop, a machine shop. I made a pretty small room, so I figured just one piece of equipment would be good. Otherwise, it would get very cramped with all the different things you'd need to make an actual machine shop. So that's the utility room of my base. Now, back to the spawner area. The Trident killers come in many sizes. You can get like a 1x1, a 2x2 inside. I think there's even a 3x3. Obviously, the more space you need inside, the more complex it gets. But we're gonna do your pretty standard 2x2 arrangement, which is simple enough. Now we're gonna have to stop the skeletons from murdering us while we do this. So let's throw a block here. That should be good enough. We get rid of this for now. Oh, that's probably not good. Yeah, no, that burned up. Okay. Smart thing to do would be to get rid of this and fall to the floor. Put this down here for now, just to give us a place to work. This is going to be up one. We're going to have a hopper on this block here. Okay, good. All right, so we're figuring it out. I'm just going to carve out the area that I need to work in, and I'll come back when I can show you how this all looks. So this is the space we need to work in to make this Trident killer function. Basically, skeletons fall down this hole, they land on this block, and then they get pushed around in a circle with the trident inside, and it kills them. You might also notice that this block has item collection built into it. I'll show you how I did that in just a second, but for now, basically to get this 2x2 killing chamber, you need a 4x4 area. And we place our pistons down in this pattern, like this. All right? Very straightforward. So far, not too complicated. We got to place an observer facing into the piston. So the arrow points to the piston. Very important. Kind of just got to stand like that, get them to do it properly. So that is good. We are stuck in here. We're going to temporarily break some blocks so we can get out. So you can see that the drop chute ends up right here. Now that we have an observer pointing into every piston, we just need to give those observers something to detect. So when this is all working, each one of these pistons will be pumping in its cycle. And if we have an observer that detects that, it will tell the subsequent observer, this guy, fire the next piston. Eventually, when they're all in, you get an infinite loop. So if we put an observer here, you see it fires that piston, that's good. So now we need to get one to detect here. That is not the right way to place it, but you get the point because the piston starts moving, right? I think we're gonna have to move around here a little bit. No, that's bad. That's bad. Okay, all right, that's great. We're doing good. We're putting the observers in all the right direction. There you go. Okay. It doesn't matter if the observer's output, like the little red dot that blinks, is pointing away from the next observer in line. The next observer will still detect that this one had a state change, and it will still do its thing. So that's good. We need to detect this piston now. Really good if I could place these properly. Like that. Okay. Trapped again. Huh. I did not think this through very well. Sometimes retrofitting these things is a bit finicky. So finally, the last one is going to go in. Just going to try to place it. This. Now they're just going to start pumping. We throw a trident in here. You see it just, well, you can't really see it, but it just sort of floats around on the floor. That is a trident killer. It will kill mobs. And now we just need to make a lever. We do that. Now, if we add a lever to this piston, let's say, we can stop it. And then we can start it and stop it as needed. That's perfect. This is great. Okay, so now I told you I was going to show you the collection system. You cannot use a hopper to pick up an item through a solid block. Since I made the floor out of stone, that's a solid block. It doesn't work so good. So what you have to do is you have to add an intermediary step here. A hopper minecart can pull items through a solid block. So the hopper minecart pulls it through, and it goes into another hopper, and then down the chain of hoppers the same way that it was before. So I had to raise it up by 2 blocks to accommodate this hopper minecart, but the original fall damage that I was using to kill the skeletons doesn't really matter anymore because of the tridents. So we're just going to block this in so it doesn't move anywhere. Those hopper minecarts can be kind of shifty sometimes. We're going to close this whole area up so that nothing can escape. Should have brought some glass so we could have a visual of what's happening, but we'll leave a gap open. Don't worry. We'll be able to see our skeletons getting slaughtered wholesale. All right, so close this. I'm a little worried to open this hole here. Can I do it without going in? And and okay, very good. So the skeletons aren't dropping down because I'm too far from the spawner. Let's set this on to go. I'm gonna go make a slab so that I can see what's happening in there. I think we're gonna see it in action. Trick is not to get shot by the skeletons when they fall. Okay, so skeletons are falling. Trident killer's doing its thing. We don't want them to actually die from the fall. We want them to die from the trident. The distinction is important because if they die from the trident because I threw the trident, I will get my looting sword will give me extra loot. Okay, so I think I have a small problem with my design. The original method I used to kill things was fall damage. So the shaft is quite long, and that means that anything that falls down it is actually hitting the pistons and dying before the trident kills them. So to fix that problem, what we're going to do is we're going to make a small modification to the drop chute that will, I really hope this doesn't just drop me down a bunch of blocks. We're going to put a sign here, a little bit of water, so that anything that falls down slows down. Hopefully that keeps it alive long enough to get killed by the trident killer and not by the fall. Just wait here a minute. If we go down real quick, I don't know if we'll go down fast enough. We might be able to see that they're not dead yet. They are dead yet. Okay. Well, so I believe that they will in fact survive the fall and not die from fall damage at this point because we slowed them down. We do a calc. We could do math. We could do math. I think the height is 23 blocks. So the floor here is let's say 76 because they're landing on the piston heads and not the floor. 76 and we're at 95 here. So that's 20 blocks. If they pass that water, they reduce their speed to 0 until they fall out of the water. That means that they're going to fall less than 23 blocks. So they should survive the fall and die by Trident killer. So if we go down there and we get XP, that means the Trident killed them and not the fall. A couple fell. We're just going to go close to this thing and we got XP. That means they're dying from the Tridents. Well, all right. So the Trident killer works. The collection system has been expanded down there. And we are ready to AFK again tonight. Hopefully make even more bones than we've been making before. Right now, I had to replenish the entire shop, so I'm at 1 shulker and about a half a shulker of bone blocks. I'm hoping that this new Trident killer makes things much faster for us. I did an overnight last night. A little more than an overnight, actually. I was, let's say, about 12 hours AFK. And we have 1 chest, Two chests. Two chests and what is that? Six stacks plus I guess another 10 stacks from the hoppers. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, that's more than like I used to make maybe a double chest over the course of an evening. So or half a double chest over the course of an evening. So it looks to me like we definitely at least improved our production rates considerably. The one thing I didn't consider is that mobs that spawn wearing Thorn's armor can hurt you while you're AFK in a Trident killer. So I'm gonna have to figure out something to do about that because I don't want to accidentally die. But another thing I also thought might be a problem is that XP would pool up and cause lag, and it seems nobody complained last night, so for now we're okay. But when I came in to collect this morning, I walked past the healing chamber and look at my levels. I went from level 9 to level 62 in one shot. Really, overall, not bad amounts of XP. I also managed to heal up my pickaxe pretty good. So with that amount of bones produced, I don't think I'll need to AFK at my farm for a couple weeks, so that's nice. I just need to convert them to bone blocks and restock the store. Meanwhile, I did get a little work done on the list of things I wanted to do this episode. So if we go through to the Nether, so this is what it looks like now. I was going for a little mycelium takeover of the stone kind of thing. Sort of represents what's on the other side of the portal, and I think it looks pretty good. Hightower brought me some of these corals, which I think add a little nice. I didn't even think about gray plants when I was building. It's very cool effect. I like it very much. I'm gonna head on to the shopping district and restock my store. And at that point, I guess all I got left to do this episode is finish working on my tower or work on my tower some more. It's never gonna be finished, is it? In the previous clip, I said working on the tower was the last thing to do on the list of things to do in this episode, and that was false. If you recall, and you should probably watch the video again just to make sure I'm not messing with you. At the beginning of this episode, I did say that I wanted to get the spider spawner prepared to make it into a farm. However, I've run out of time to do that. So, instead, we're going to go take a look at what I've done with the tower and then call it an episode. But I really do want to get that spider spawner ready to go. So in the next episode, that's going to be my primary focus. Maybe instead of just preparing it, I'll actually do the whole thing where it's ready to be used. Anyways, you can see I've added some small features to the tower. Up close, it looks a little bit blocky, which I guess is normal for Minecraft, but from a distance, it adds a nice shape to it. So maybe we come over here. This nice big tall jungle tree. Have a look. What we've got going on so far. So there's still more to do. There's more elements I want to put in. Probably some more windows, maybe some like trim bits to make it look a little more uneven. I also have to do the thing where you use cracked stone bricks and stone and andesite to make it look weathered and old. I wanted to put a gradient in, but I kind of suck at gradients, and I'm not sure the best way to proceed. Everything I tried seemed to make it really dark at the bottom and not so dark at the top, and that was not the feel I was going for. So, anyways, the tower itself is completely empty inside. It's just one big empty space. You can take a look at it here. It's very unsafe in here. Very dark. Probably need to get some torches down. For now, I think that's going to be the episode. So, if you liked what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.